Uh, so let's just have a family conversation. Let's talk as a family. We are a family. Jesus, that's his most common metaphor for what he calls his posse, his disciples. They're family. Do I need to stand where it says Ralph? I do. I need to follow the floor cues. People are pointing at me that I'm breaking all the rules. Ralph, I realize how hard this is now. Jeez, how do you stay in one spot? All right. What up? We're going to talk as a family about... I don't have a PowerPoint? I can move around. Ha, Stan. Robin told me I can move around, so I'm going to follow Robin. He's got the video thingy. We're going to talk as a family about some stuff. So in the world, we have 10,000 things vying for our attention in this space. We have chants going everywhere saying completely different things. And we as Christians, or I'll say me as a Christian, we're troubled. We feel like we should be all things to all people, but yet we have these convictions in our hearts for things. For example, like I have a conviction in my heart for what's going on in the world right now as far as like racial justice and equity. That's what I'm going to hopefully be doing my apprenticeship in. That's what I want to learn in as a white male who's got a lot of privilege. I want to step into that space, hear stories, learn from people that I haven't gotten to have a lot of time with. Just given my status and where I grew up. I grew up in the South, and it's still pretty segregated. And so I want to step into that realm. So that's something that's deep on my heart. But we were pulled in all these things. And the thing that we want the most is we want there to be a right answer and a wrong answer. We want it to be A and not B. Okay? We want 2 + 2 to always equal 4. That's a fact. Okay? Other facts. Ice cream is better than Jell-O. That's a fact. We're not going to debate it. It's a fact. If you come to my place, bring some ice cream. Stan's giving me a this. It's not up for debate. Ice cream is way better than Jell-O. That's a fact. Hamilton is one of the best musicals ever written. Fact. If you should see it, it's great. It's awesome. But you should see it first of all. But we want things to be right, and we want things to be wrong. We want them to be A and not B. Okay? That has served us as kind of humans, thinking kind of scientifically, evolutionally. I know that's a weird word, but kind of walk with me on this road. This has led to our survival as a people. We want to be near people that are like us. We want to have clear-cut answers. That way we know what to do, and that just makes life simpler. That's a survival instinct. So we're going to step into the gray a bit. We're going to embrace the gray. We're going to hug it. We're going to go, you're here, and we have to wrestle with you. That's what we're going to do. So over the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, Ralph is, Ralph, I hope you're okay, and you should preach next week. But this week and next week, we're going to be talking about this topic of social justice. And I know that maybe like a third or a half of you just kind of recoiled in your seats. Okay? You just want to, you want to unplug the computer and just be like, nope, we're not talking about this. This is just too hard. It's too uncomfortable. We're not going there. The Bible plays no part in social justice. I'm speaking through these people. The Bible has nothing to say about social justice. This is nothing at all. The Bible just cares about you and your heart and what happens to you in the afterlife. That's what the Bible cares about. Okay? I want to tell you that doesn't bear out in Scripture. And I want you to sit in that. I don't want you to recoil away. I want you to hear this. We're going to go into this. We're going to talk about this. And I'm not telling you just to think what I think. I'm going to use your logic, your understanding of the world to hopefully get you on board on the Bible has something to say about how we live socially. Because that's what social justice is. So we're not treating this as a political issue. I don't think it is. Okay? I don't think it necessarily belongs to the left or the right or anything in between. I think the Bible has things to say about it, and for me, the Bible is the final word. We talked about this a few months ago before all this happened, that the Bible has permission to challenge how we act, how we think, and what we believe. The Bible has that permission because it is authoritative to us as Christians. That's a Vineyard thing. That's also a Christian thing, hopefully. The Bible is our authority. If the Bible says something that we disagree with, we submit to the Bible because it is the authority. And we listen to it, and we let it challenge us. The way we think, behave, feel, and believe. Okay, so this is kind of how we're talking about the topic of social justice. So let's first define some terms, okay? Justice and social justice. Those are two big things. Those have really heavy meanings in the world today. Like we all think we know what that is, and we think we know what that is. Okay? But I want to bring people into the room and make sure that we're all speaking the same language. Because if I say something and you hear it totally different than what I interpret, then I have said nothing. If I say the sky is blue and Rachel hears the sky is full of ozone gas that makes it this bluey tint, I'm not exactly sure if that's true. Then I'm just saying, hey, the sky is beautiful, and she's breaking it down scientifically because that's where her mind goes, and she has a beautiful mind. So I want to be sure that I communicate to you what I intend and make sure that we both can agree on definitions. That way, whenever we talk to each other, we can kind of speak the same language. Or at least have a bedrock that we can both build off of in the same space, okay? You with me? Are you with me? If you're with me, say yes. I heard you. All right, cool. I didn't. I'm sorry. It's hard to be alone in this building with just 3 people and not a whole bunch of people. They all said yes? Great. I love it. Yeah. I love you guys so much. Okay. So we're going to define some terms. So what do we mean by justice? Justice. This was this finger. I'm sorry. Justice and social justice. What do we mean by justice? So the definition that I want to propose to you, that I say we can all get behind for the most part, justice is the right ordering of society. Now I want to distinguish that from like the justice that how we define it in the United States. Justice, how we define it in the United States, looks more like retributive justice. Now, what that means is that if you do something bad, then the society as a whole, through the power of the government, gets to lock you up or do something back to be sure that there is an equal footing for everybody. If you steal from me, the government gets to come in and lock you away. That's retributive justice. It is a reaction to an injustice to try to right the wrongs that was committed. Does that make sense? Cool. I heard you again. That's retributive justice. What we're talking about is broader than that. It's justice as a whole. It's the way society should be. Okay? That make sense? That makes sense. Cool. Great. Now, how is that different from social justice? This finger. How is that different from social justice? If justice is this all-encompassing, the right ordering of society, I want to propose that social justice is the right ordering of how we interact with each other as people and how we interact with creation. Both of those encompassing elements. So the way I interact with Stan It can be as simple as this. If I am really, really mean to Stan, and I only pick on Stan because he's like, don't throw that at me. I only pick on Stan because he's right here and he's behind the mic and he's the only one in my eye shot. If I am really mean to Stan, if I'm just bitter towards Stan, and I just don't like Stan, and I think he's the worst, I think you're the best. If I just think he's the worst, and I have all this anger and frustration and not a lot of love towards Stan, I would call that under this injustice, because our relationship is not in its right order. I am not lovingly serving Stan, and Stan is not lovingly serving me in return because of the injustice that is between us. That's what we mean by social justice. How we are relating to the people around us, and also how we relate to the world. Cool? Is everybody on board with that? Go ahead and say yes. Great. Okay, I heard all of you through the camera. I didn't. Okay, so now we're actually going to get into the sermon. This sermon is called Nobody Gets What They Want. Let me see that picture. Yeah. This sermon is called Nobody Gets What They Want. And that's because we are going to talk about an issue. But first, let's read a Bible passage just to kind of lay a bedrock around this idea of social justice. Okay? So I'm sorry, Ralph, if I'm stepping on your territory. Also, thank you, Ralph, for leaving this Bible in the office for me to steal because I needed a Bible. All right. We're going to be in Leviticus 25. Yes, you heard me right. Leviticus. The happiest book of the Bible, let me tell you. Okay. It's not. If you've read Leviticus, it's got some interesting stuff in it that we can talk about later. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Mainly, we ain't got that kind of time, and I'm going to pull a Ralph and go way long. All right. We're going to be in Leviticus 25, verse 8 to 12. Only 4 verses, okay? But we're going to lay this foundation of what this means. This is the section that refers to the thing called the Year of Jubilee. Ralph, I'm almost positive I'm stepping on your territory that you're going to be talking about. I'm sorry. I couldn't find a way around it. You can talk about it more. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right. It's called the Year of Jubilee. Jubilee. All right, I'm done. So we're going to read from 8 to verse 12. You don't got to? Okay, that's fine. Follow along. If you have a bibble or a fibble, that's a phone bibble, you are welcome to follow along. 25, verse 8. Count off 7 Sabbath years. 7 times 7 years. So that the 7 Sabbath years amount to a period of 49 years. Then have the trumpet sound everywhere on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the Day of Atonement, sound the trumpet throughout your land. Consecrate the 15th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you. Each of you is to return to your family property and to your own clan. The 15th year shall be a jubilee for you. Do not sow and do not reap what grows of itself, or harvest the untended vines. For it is a jubilee, and it is to be holy for you. Only eat what is directly from the fields. All right. So what is this year of Jubilee? I love the word Jubilee. All right. This year of Jubilee. It occurs every 7 years or 49 years. I'm not entirely sure. One of my Bible nerds, help me out. 7 or 49 years it occurs. And here's what happens. A few things happen. If you want to read the whole section, it talks about this stuff. I only read a small part just to kind of introduce the topic. Here's a few things that happens. Number 1, all slaves are freed. all slaves, all of them are free. It's a year of liberty. And how can you do that with slaves? All slaves are free. Number 2, all debts are forgiven. How can you be free when you're in debtor's prison for taking out a loan and then things go south? So, all debts are forgiven. Number 3, all land is to be returned to its ancestral clan. Now, what does that mean? In Israel, there were the 12 tribes of Israel, and they were given allotments of land, except for the Levites. Fun fact, we'll talk about that later. Not really, but we can talk about that later. They were priests. All the other 11 tribes were given land in Israel. And sometimes people sell their land to other people. In the year of Jubilee, that land is to be returned to its ancestral clan, to be sure that no one tribe has an excess amount of land than the other. So those are the kind of things that happen in a Jubilee year. The way that I interpret the year of Jubilee is this is an act of social justice. God is saying every 7 or 49 years, I'm not entirely sure. Help me out, Bible nerds. Every 7 or 49 years, God instituted in his law, in the Torah, the books of law, that there is to be a reordering of society to be sure that it is just. This is a form of social justice. So when somebody tells you social justice is not in the Bible never mentions the term social justice. Just because it doesn't mention the exact term doesn't mean it's not there. Oh. 49? 49 years? My Bible nerd. 49 years. It's a reordering of society to be sure that there is justice and equity among all people. Okay? That is the definition of social justice. So whenever somebody says it's not there, you can point them to this and be like, well, actually, here's an example of it. Yes, it doesn't explicitly say this, but also it doesn't explicitly say the word Trinity, but we all affirm that. Okay? It's that kind of thing. It doesn't need to say it to be there. It just needs to have an example of it. Okay? I can say 2 + 2 = 4, and I gave you an example of math without ever saying the word math. Social justice is in the Bible. All right? Everybody with me? Great. Let's talk about something we all want to talk about right now. Let's talk... Well, hang on. Before I tell you, I want to give you a warning. You're going to get uncomfortable. No, we're not talking about sex. You're going to get uncomfortable. I just made it uncomfortable. I'm sorry and also a little not sorry, but you'll see in a minute. I want to warn you that you're going to get uncomfortable. Wherever you land on this issue that we're about to talk about, you're going to be uncomfortable because I'm not going to give you what you want over here, and I'm not going to give you what you want over here. What do I mean by that? I'm not going to say the exact thing that you want me to say for either side. I'm not going to spit talking points. I'm not going to give you your cake and let you eat it. I'm not going to do that because I think both sides are flawed and there's a happy medium that I want us to get to. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get on the edge of your couch and I just want you to lean in. Lean into me. I need you to stick with me on this. Okay? Because I promise there's something for everybody here, but nobody's going to get everything that we want because I don't think that's possible. Okay? So just lean in with me. Don't shy away. I'm going to tell you what we're talking about, okay? All right, don't turn off your computer, okay? We're going to talk about abortion. Okay? Now, a lot of people just went yay, and a lot of people just went ugh. Okay? I need you both to kind of just assess where you are right now. What are you feeling? Are you really, really, really happy that we're about to do this? Yeah, the year of Jubilee. Are you about to shy away? Do you just want to pull back, be like, I don't want to talk about this. No, that's not my thing. I'm just going to turn off the TV and chill out over here, way over here, and you go ahead because you're going to talk Christian language and you're going to come to this conclusion, which I don't think I agree with. So I'm just going to turn off the TV and walk away. Okay? I want to tell you, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go to that conclusion. Okay? Now, all those people that were like, yeah, finally, we talk about something that I feel like I have a grasp of. It's deep on my heart. I think I know what the solution is. It's nailed down. I know exactly what you're going to say. I know exactly where we're going to go. I want you to assess that, and I need you to be okay with the fact that we might not go there. We might not reach your conclusion, okay? And that's because we need to see this from a lot of angles. And why are we talking about abortion in the sermon about social justice? Because I think we can all agree, whether you're on the left or the right, social justice is a thing whether you want to call it that or not. So on one side of the aisle, we care about things like wealth inequality, we care about things like healthcare, stuff like that is typically associated with the term social gospel. But I would argue that the issue of abortion is just as much a social issue, a social justice issue. You just don't want to call it that. It's an issue of how we relate to each other and how we relate to creation. And you're really passionate about it because you see injustice there. I want to affirm that and say that is okay. I'm not saying don't care about it. I'm not going to give you what you want here. Nobody gets what they want here, okay? But I want you to be okay with this being a social justice issue and not these, because I don't think that's true. We need to hold all of these in our hands because I want to argue all of these are connected. These issues that we call social justice, okay? So we're going to talk about abortion, and I need you to just lean in. Be okay with the discomfort. Be okay with that. Welcome it. Don't be like, yeah, discomfort, but be willing to accept it for just a minute, just for the minutes that we have left. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I love you, Ralph. I need you to be okay with that and just sit in that with me. Just sit here with me in that, and we're just gonna hash it out just for a minute, okay? So stay with me. Lean in. Don't turn off the computer, okay? Because remember, in this sermon, nobody gets what they want. Okay? All right. So let's talk about abortion. People are fired up about this topic. So here is what I want to propose to you to kind of make you think about this a little bit differently. So let me start with making one group very unhappy. And I need you to be okay with this because we're going to go somewhere with this. And we're going to go somewhere very, very interesting. Okay? Let's talk to one group, the people that are really excited that I'm talking about this. Okay? They think I know what I'm going to say. They think I'm going to go to this way. All right? They want me to say that we should make it illegal. It should be illegal to perform abortions in the United States. It should be illegal. How dare it be okay by law? I want to propose something, and again, you're not going to get what you want. I promise you're going to get something that you want, though. All right? You're going to get the thing that you want, but not the way you thought you were. Okay? So lean in here. You want it to be illegal. You think that changing the law will solve the problem. I want to propose this. I don't think removing the law will actually solve the problem that you want to solve. So if you see abortion as an injustice, and I want to applaud that, I'm not putting that down. I think that is good. I think God has put that on your heart, okay? I want to affirm that. Let me just make that clear, okay? I'm not saying bad. Not saying bad to anybody, okay? But I want to give you some statistics that might help us understand this a little bit better and get to the real thing that you want, which I think ultimately is that there would be less and ultimately no abortions in the United States. That's really what you want. It's not just to abolish the law just because you don't like the wording. It's really to get to a point where no abortions occur in the United States. We're all there together, right? We're all there together. Okay. Let me just give you some statistics from 1967, okay? 1967 was 4 or 5 years before Roe v. Wade was decided. It was decided in 1971, 72, something like that. So it's about 5 years before. This was when abortions were still illegal, and a North Carolina Research Institute estimated that there were about 829,000 abortions in the United States. And this was before it was illegal, or before it was legal. And so here's what I want to propose to you with just those numbers. Just that one number. Making it illegal won't make the problem go away. Okay? Making murder illegal didn't make the murder problem go away. Making theft illegal didn't mean that thieves suddenly stopped stealing. Okay? I want to propose to you that making it illegal might not be the best thing. Okay? Again, nobody is getting what they want. Okay? Because I'm going to talk to the other side too. And they're not going to get what they want either. But eventually, I think by the end of this, we're all going to come together and get things that we really, 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 really think are good. Okay? I think making it just illegal will not actually drop the rate of abortion at all. I actually think it will make it more dangerous. And reducing the number, not reducing the number while making it more dangerous, actually puts more people at risk. And I don't think that's good. I think that's problematic. Okay? I think that's really problematic, and I hope that you see that. I hope you haven't tuned me out. If you're starting to lean back and be like, "Oh, this guy," all right, lean in, you guys. Okay, get on the edge of your seats, kind of lean in with me. All right. If we need to make a huddle right here, we can do it. All right. I don't think that making it illegal will actually help anything. And I'm with you guys. I want to see no abortions in the United States. Okay. I'm not using the terminology of pro-life and pro-choice because I think those are antiquated and I don't think they actually help. But I do want to see no abortions in the United States. Because I think that abortions are symptomatic of larger problems that we are experiencing in the United States. And for this point of the conversation, let's make the other side mad now. Okay? Remember, nobody gets what they want. Okay? Say that with me. Nobody gets what they want. Okay? Stan just drew a thumbs up. All right. Thank you, Stan. Okay, so let's talk to the other side. I think your side is problematic as well. And here is why. I think abortions are symptomatic of a larger problem that we are experiencing. I think abortions are a symptom of a series of social injustices. And I think abortions are a good metric to figure out if we're actually making progress. So no, I think abortions are a sign of injustice. I do. Now, you guys just went, oh, geez, this guy is just going to tell us, like, you should care about abortions and therefore go out and protest and make a sign and you got to vote this way because, it's this guy. I get that. I understand your frustration. I have been frustrated like that a billion times. I think there is ineffective conversation about the issue of abortion, and that's why we are here in Social Justice Week. All right? That's why we're here. So I want you to lean in with me. Let's huddle in. You guys huddle with me now. All right? You guys get down here with me. Okay? All right, we're going to huddle and we're going to talk. Here's the deal. I think the metric of injustice, abortion provides a decent metric. Just like poverty provides a decent metric, just like the wealth inequality provides a decent metric to judge how just our society is socially, stuff like that, I think abortion is a good one too. And here is why. I think all of those things, poverty, healthcare, wealth, racism, definitely, all play a factor into things like abortion. I think they're all connected. I think abortion's roots are so deep that they've wrapped around these things, these pillars of capitalism, so to say, of wealth inequality, and wrapping around things like racism, and this dysfunctional healthcare system that we have. I think it's wrapped itself around those. So if ripping it out won't actually remove any of the roots of racism that actually, or the roots of abortion that actually cause women to choose to get an abortion. It's things like racism that cause women to get an abortion. In the 1960s, 1 in 4 women accounted for abortions in New York City. 1 in 2 women of color, black women, Puerto Rican women, non-whites, in New York City in the 1960s, 1 in 2 reported abortions. It affects women of color much more than it affects white women. Okay? And that's why this issue of racism totally affects abortion. So, again, what have we been saying? Nobody is going to get what they want. But I think we can work together. I think we can work together on this issue specifically, okay? So here's what I want. I want you to see how entangled these things are together. How wrapped up these are. A faulty healthcare system, racism, wealth inequality, and massive amounts of poverty, especially in places like cities. We're in LA. Plays into something like abortion. So here's what I want this group to think. I want you to care a little bit about abortion. To use it as a really, really good metric about how we're doing about the other things. Because if we make decent strides against racism, if we make decent strides against things like poverty, if we make decent strides in making our healthcare system more just, you will see that reflected in the metric of abortions. They will go down. Because we live in a more just society. And this side, I need you to care about these other things. I need you to care about racism. I need you to care about poverty. I need you to care about healthcare. I need you to care about wealth. Because those things all contribute to abortion. All those things are the causes. They are the cancers that drive numbers of abortions. Because women feel trapped. They feel disempowered. They don't feel like they can do it. And that's because of the situation that they're in, the systems that put them there. So I want to make the point. I don't think the law, changing the law, will actually solve the problem. I think it will make it more dangerous. If what we want is to see the actual numbers of abortion go down, which I think we all do at this point in our conversation. I think we all want to see the numbers go down. Then we need to care about these issues too. And that involves thinking about all of this at a macro level. We've been looking at a micro level for so long. If we just overturn Roe v. Wade, everything will be fine and there will be no abortions in the United States. The history does not bear that out. Statistics do not bear that out. And I don't think that what you want is to just have the law abolished. I don't think that's what you want. Ultimately, you want to abolish the law to eliminate abortions. And I want to present to you that that's not exactly the best thing for that. I think if we look at the other side, of the aisle and say their concerns will actually help me. The things that they care about, the social justice issues that they care about, racism, wealth inequality, healthcare, poverty, all the other ones. If they make decent strides on the efforts that they're trying to do to make it a more just society, it will actually affect the thing that I care about. And then on the other side, if we actually look and see that if their heart genuinely is to see women supported and healthy and able to have children in a society that is just, where they do not live in fear, if they can buy diapers, if we use that as a metric for how well we are doing on our justice issues, I think that's beneficial for both parties. And that's the middle ground that I want us all to be at when especially talking about this issue. Because right now, it looks a lot like the picture that we saw. It looks a lot like two children screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, going, "Why don't you get it? Why?" But here's what I want to propose to you. If we actually go back and listen to what the other side has to say, look at it, take 5 big steps back, and look at it all together, see how all these things are tied together, we realize that we both want the same thing. We just scream and demand that it be done our way. So, I want to propose that we actually both care about these issues. We care about the women. We care about the babies. And I propose that we start caring about the issues that put the women in that position in the first place. Because if we actually make meaningful change in those areas, then we can see something like a year of Jubilee. A year of feasting, a year of Sabbath, of rest, a year of joy where people are set free and liberated from the things that are crushing them. We might actually see that. We might. And I know it's like, oh, that sounds like end time stuff. I don't think so. I think we might actually see a year of Jubilee. I think this is a great thing to strive for and not something just to put back and went, oh, that's a really nice, pretty idea. That's nice. All right, let's get to the more important parts of the Bible, like Jesus caring just about your heart. Jesus and God, yes, they do care about your heart. But they also care about how that heart relates to the heart next to you. And God has a really decent idea of what justice looks like. And I say we jump on that train. So, I think I'm done. Sorry, that was loud. I think I'm done. I'm going to be done here. Ralph is going to pick this up next week. All right, so come back. Ralph is going to pick it up. And Ralph is going to do an amazing job. He's going to talk more about social justice. Ralph, I'm terribly sorry if I walked all over your Bible passage. But I want to hear your thoughts on it, Ralph. All right. We all gather. Keep on not stepping on Ralph. Yeah. We all gather on Zoom, and we meet and we pray together. If you do not have that number, the Zoom meeting number, email info.vineyard.church, vineyardmonrovia.church. I got it right. I didn't get it right. Info that we can get you the information and get you in, all right? I wanted to remind you about giving. We don't talk about it a lot. We usually do it in our gathering. Giving is an act of worship. It's not a box that you need to check to be a Christian. That's not what it is. It's an act of worship of being generous towards the generous God that is generous towards us. Okay? That's what it is. So we want to remind you that giving is still an opportunity of worship if you want to give online. Okay? There's the regular fund and there's also the missions fund that we always used to do in our gatherings. Okay? So I just want to remind you of that in this time. I think in this time more than ever, it's time for us to be generous. Not just give to the church, but be generous with our friends and neighbors, because that is social justice. I tied it back to the sermon. Okay, we love you guys. Be safe, be healthy, stay careful, stay inside, okay? It's scary out there, especially with the virus. We want you all to be healthy. We want to gather again and worship. But right now, that involves staying inside. Okay? We will all see each other soon. We love you. Take care. We'll see you next week.